This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
You all ready for this? Mm-hmm. Dun 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 dun.
No. Y'all, just stop.
This is a sham.
Welcome to DBL. It's Tuesday, November 2nd. I'm Jeff here with my friends Al and Erica. Feeling good?
Feeling real good.
Start this Tuesday?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
All right, let's get right into it. Let's start.
Jumpstart the Tuesday at night.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean? Some people are just getting home from work.
Yeah,
that's right. Let's get fired up.
Night ain't over yet.
Yeah, that's right. Let's start with an update on the deadly shooting on the set of Alec Baldwin's movie Rust. So the assistant director, Dave Halls, is breaking his silence over the shooting, saying he was shocked and saddened by the death of Helena Hutchins. Dave's lawyer also insisted that it wasn't his job to check the gun that he handed to Alec Baldwin. Here's what his lawyer said.
Expecting an assistant director to check a firearm is like telling the assistant director to check the camera angle or telling the assistant director to check sound or lighting. That's not the assistant director's job. If he chooses to check the firearm because he wants to make sure that everyone's safe, he can do that, but that's not his responsibility.
Oh, lawyers.
Yeah.
Listen, if someone hands you a gun on set and says, this is a cold gun, meaning it will not fire, and you fire that, don't you think Dave has a little responsibility in this case?
Well, yeah, and people who are gun experts are kind of implying that if they're not saying it completely full out. I think this is interesting that he's the first person to have representation truly speak for him because his name has been thrown in the mix based on not only the two incidents of guns misfiring, some other equipment misfiring on that set, but also based on situations from past projects. Now, the platform to me is very telling as well because the empathy level might be a little higher by having his attorney go on to a show like that to kind of plead his case, because really he's talking to the court of public opinion, but someone could possibly see charges and his name is kind of on the top of the list.
Yeah, it's weird to me that the assistant director is being put in charge of something this important. It's almost like, I feel like, and tell me if I'm wrong with this analogy, like the school lunch lady was also the nurse. Remember, like at a lot of schools, they would do double duty. If she was in charge of a young person that had something really bad go on and that young person lost their life, would that school lunch lady that was technically not a nurse be responsible just like this assistant director would be? I would think that you would have somebody where that's all they did all day is guns. Not worry about other things and then also worry about guns if they got a chance. Do you see where I'm going with that?
Totally.
I get what you're saying, but I think what the argument here is that he was the last person to call cold gun. So
which means he checked it, or he would have.
It kind of implies that he also checked it.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, this is going to be a very interesting case, and I guess we're just going to have to watch and see how it plays out.
Yeah. All right, speaking of the shooting on the Rust movie set, take a look at what former Real Housewives star Kelly Dodd and her husband Rick dressed as for Halloween. She was dressed as a Native American and he went as Alec Baldwin from the Rust movie. Rick defended his costume choice, telling Page Six, quote, "In no way was I trying to offend anyone except Alec Baldwin. He's a jerk and deserves all the heat he's getting."
Yeah, they did answer the question, how do you get away from the cultural appropriation argument? Have your male partner have something way more offensive on. I mean,
there's so many angles we could take here.
I don't know if we have enough time, Jeff, for any of that. It's a lot.
I'm with you.
Erica, what are you thinking looking at this?
Well, apparently Kelly Dodd did say that she had an ancestry test done and that she's 30% Native American. Now, I also had an ancestry test done and I am 45% Nigerian, and I've never thought to dress up as a Nigerian for Halloween.
There's always time.
The thirst is so real in this post because Kelly Dodd and her husband Rick, match made in heaven, apparently, were not invited back to the Real Housewives of Orange County. And she was very upset about it. She has been speaking out publicly ever since she was notified that she wasn't going to be returning. And I think that this is stuff that people do when they're trying to keep their names out there. So they're trolling. They're very thirsty. Somebody just pass them a bottle of water. I'm sure it'll be okay.
That was the answer I was kind of wanting to get to. You know, there's so many other things going on here with the Alec Baldwin thing. This man accidentally killed someone, right? He's going through some pain too. No matter what you think of him, you don't wish that on anybody. You don't call him a jerk after something like that happens, despite how you feel about that. Your answer was the one I was looking for.
Yeah, well,
so
hey.
thank you.
That's right. It's real.
There's some people got caught up in the game.
They sure
like
did.
reality is not real, y'all.
A lot of people
We're talking about
game.
that. In their mind, they're winning.
Yes.
When you say hate, shame, game, it's all the same name, whatever it is.
Yeah, fame or shame, it's all the same game. But that's only if the game is paying you. Like, what is the bottom line here?
We're us talking about that.
Yeah.
That's what I think the bottom line is.
If that's lying in your pockets, then go off, sis.
All right. Well, this story I like. Jessica Simpson is celebrating being 4 years sober with a photo of herself at rock bottom. Jessica posted this photo from 2017, which she describes as an unrecognizable version of herself. She said at that moment, she realized she needed to quit drinking. She went on to say, quote, "There is so much stigma around the word alcoholism or the label of an alcoholic. The real work that needed to be done in my life was to actually accept failure, pain, brokenness, and self-sabotage. The drinking wasn't the issue. I was." She added that back then she didn't love herself, but has made nice with her fears and is now free. I love this story. I love taking a look in the mirror, figuring out what's going on. She obviously did that, Al. You are sober now. How long?
I just looked up the app right now. I have the 695 days.
Good for you, buddy.
So,
Good for you.
It's weird. I didn't when I got my new phone, I didn't even download the app because it's not a thing with me with the actual number. I was just done drinking, and I think there's a couple different kinds of people that stop. Some people stop because it's court mandated. Some people stop because their family or their spouse asked them to. But some people are just done, and that's where I was. I was just kind of done. I've been feeling like that for a while. And once I stopped and I realized I could still hang out with my friends, still go to dinner, still enjoy life, but just be sober throughout the experience, it was really great for me. So I really applaud her because with her following, so many people are feeling like she did, but just you wonder, like, well, can I go to a party? Who's gonna want to date me? All these kinds of things, because alcohol has been intertwined with everything in your life. So she's showing everybody that there's like a whole new life, a better life, a sober life that you can remember. So shout out to her. She looks great. You can see her glowing inside as well. So good on her.
Wow, she really is unrecognizable in that photo. Al, what do you say to somebody that uses all these other excuses, maybe even drinking as an excuse, but her being outside of who she was back then looks back and say, it wasn't even the drinking, it was my thinking, my philosophy, what I was doing. It wasn't even the drinking, it was my mindset. How do you get somebody out of that mindset when they're in that hole?
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's the hard part.
It's a great question, and honestly, I think you have to be really honest when it gets real quiet at night, when it's just you. Ask yourself, why are you drinking to this point? Because there's the way that your wife and Erica drink a couple glasses of wine, move it on. That's what adults do. But when you're drinking to the point where you don't remember how you got home, you're losing things, you're saying things you don't mean and apologizing in the morning, that's something else.
Masking something.
Yes, and it's usually something you're sitting on that you don't want to discuss, and you got to get it out, Erica. It wants to come out.
Yeah, I think when she talked about the stigma too, that's so important, because generally people don't just start binge drinking on the first day that they drink, but people also don't overeat on the first day that they start to maybe feel like binging is going to be something. They don't necessarily go out and run 20 miles if their addiction is going to be, to exercise or whatever it is. So it's like these things are very gradual, and I think certain vices are treated with more empathy than others in our society, and that's the way it is. So her speaking and being a face of an addiction and the other side is major for a lot of people.
Absolutely. Good on you, Jessica. Good on you, Al.
Thank you.
Coming up on DBL, Dharma and Greg star Jenna Elfman is here. You don't want to miss it. And if you can't figure out what to buy the person that has it all, the Goop Holiday Guide can help you. The outrageous list Gwyneth Paltrow just released. That's next.
Closed captioning provided by
So yeah, we're talking about Jessica Simpson and the fact that she was so transparent. A lot of people, you know, when you change your life, they want to hide and act like none of that ever happened. Of course, her being a public figure for most of her life, she doesn't really have the luxury to do that. But the way she did it is really going to help free a lot of people, and I'm glad that she did. But I think when we're talking about, you know, alcoholism or drug addiction, we get very, very judgy. And when she speaks to that stigma, it's like everybody has something.
Right.
Like people either project it outward or they project it inward. And so when we see things that are more behaviors that can be automatically aesthetically identified, then those behaviors become a high stigma behavior, where things that when you're hurting yourself and you don't necessarily, other people don't necessarily see it, are probably in some ways even more detrimental, but we don't judge it the same way. So I think we just have to take a look at how we judge people's vices, because we all have them.
Yeah, I think it's hard for people to understand that, like, vices that seem enjoyable, it's harder for people to get a handle on the fact that that's destroying somebody's life. Like if somebody has a sex addiction or shopping addiction, people are like, oh yeah, you like dresses, so what? No, it's like, I don't talk to my family because I shop this much. Like this isn't, but like when people hear one word, they're like, oh, well, I would like to eat ice cream all day. It's like, it's not that. It's that this person is killing themselves with food.
Right.
So like, I think the way that we talk about things would really help, because a lot of addictions and vices mask themselves as Vegas, like partying. It's like not for a person with a gambling addiction, which is how a lot of those casinos are built.
And I'm glad you said it, because in this case, drinking is just an example of any addiction.
Any addiction,
right? And
yeah.
it's like that addiction, quote unquote, isn't the problem. It was me. I needed to get out of that circle or whatever I was doing. Because a lot of people find friends. Their life revolves around that addiction, that circle that they're in.
And that's why it's scary to leave.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
You're like, who's going to talk to me if like I don't have the guys at the bar?
Welcome back to DBL. Yesterday, we showed you Oprah's favorite things for the holidays. Now, Gwyneth Paltrow has come out with her Goop holiday gift guide. Good thing it was one day later, otherwise no one would look. Gwyneth is known for highlighting some outrageous items on her site, and this year's list didn't disappoint. First, check out this Focus Calm headband for $199 that measures electrical activity in the brain.
And then what does it do with the measurements?
Well, you play brain games essentially and relax with guided meditations through an app, and then the headband gives you a picture of your brain activity while doing these tasks. Interested?
Interesting.
I wonder if I wore one during the show, what would happen?
I think you're telling me this wouldn't be a hit at a party, though? Everybody would be like, put my headband on. Let's take a look at your brain.
That's counterproductive to what it's for.
It's a party, Erica.
All right, let's get some other ones in here. Next, we have some cashmere bloomers. Bloomies for $400. They're made with a 100% Italian cashmere, so naturally, they're dry clean only.
Yeah, you know, I love a luxury item, but I'm going to just, you know, pull the plug on $400 bloomers.
Yeah, I'm with you. Just because you call them bloomers doesn't make it okay. Next, slide down those snow hills in style with a Chanel sled for $10,500.
Getting it.
Listen, I'm not.
You're getting it?
My kids? Yeah, you get to the bottom of the hill and just flex on other kids?
No.
Which one's your sled? The red one? Mine's the Chanel. Back up, buddy.
Okay, I'm not for violence, but wouldn't it be nice if someone was riding that sled and you just pushed them off of it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, it would.
This is a flawed thing, okay? Look at this. Can we pull it back up? The Chanel.
It doesn't even work.
It's burned in my brain. Yeah.
Okay. Your butt goes on the actual logo, so nobody even knows.
No, when you're carrying it through the ski lodge, and you're like, what's up,
you're not carrying that through the ski lodge.
But it's not even disc shaped. You're not going to get any speed
It's a
with
disc
that.
shape.
It's fine.
I won one at an auction one night. And I never used it.
Yes, she did. That's
not a Chanel one, just like a saucer. I'm just saying.
About this, yeah. I find out you own one. That's what it is.
All right, Erica. After you zip down the hill in your Chanel sled, take a dip in this cedar soaking tub for just under $3,800.
I'm here for that.
Okay.
You know what? I kind of am too.
Yeah. Okay.
You should get one.
Make it like a little cold plunge?
Ooh.
You should get one. That would be perfect in
Jeff,
your
you got the space,
backyard.
Jeff, come on. Think of all of us.
Maybe I will. You can bring over your Chanel sled. Finally, this bubblegum gym, perfect for your child's playroom. It's only $34,000.
What?
This is ridiculous. Ridiculous.
No. I had one of those. It was probably $3.40.
There you go.
Why don't you take that 30? Okay, you got the 34 to spend, so let's go with that mindset. Why don't you hire one of those incredible treehouse makers?
Yeah.
Make your kid a real treehouse with like Wi-Fi in it. You got
That's-
Erica's sled ready to go. Come on.
I'm with you on that.
Okay, Erica's making a face. Oh, you wouldn't come on my $40,000 treehouse? Yes, you would.
No, I don't want to fall out of trees. That's strange.
It's got lacquer on it. It's
Al's
like
budget
really
just
good.
went up
lacquer,
6,000.
so it's slick
Yes.
too. That'll be perfect. Perfect for winter months.
Coming up on DBL, Jenna Elfman takes on the zombie apocalypse. We're chatting with the Fear the Walking Dead star. That's coming up next.
Booster shots are all the buzz since the FDA authorized them for COVID-19 vaccine recipients. That's leading to a lot of claims that the need for a booster means the original vaccines were a bust, including a Kaiser Family Foundation survey that found 71% of unvaccinated Americans think it means vaccines aren't working. So let's verify. Are the recommendations for booster shots an indication that a vaccine is ineffective? Our sources are the CDC, the FDA, and Dr. William Schaffner, a professor of preventive medicine at Vanderbilt University Medical Center, who explains vaccines often need booster shots.
It's very common, and each vaccine is a little different.
The effectiveness of vaccines can wane over time. For example, tetanus requires boosters every 10 years to build on the protection from previous shots. Then there are other vaccines that require a re-immunization, like pneumococcal, which the CDC recommends a second dose for people over 65 to remind the immune system how to fight infections.
You wane, and then the vaccine will get you up to where you were before, but not any higher. So we call that re-immunization rather than boost.
There are also vaccines like the flu shot, which the CDC recommends annually because the virus keeps changing. So Schaffner says it's not all that surprising. The COVID-19 vaccine requires a booster too.
More often than not, that's the way vaccines are.
Studies show the effectiveness of the COVID-19 vaccine can drop 10 to 20% over time, depending on the type of vaccine. A booster shot can not only return that level of protection, but offer even more. So it's false that booster shots are an indication that a vaccine is ineffective.
You know, they have pie in San Francisco.
Not this pie.
You're right. It's the best pie I've ever had in my life. How did you find this place?
Oh, my family lived in Reno for a couple years till my dad fixed the van.
She was the free-spirited wild child from the 90s sitcom Dharma and Greg. Earlier, we caught up with Jenna Elfman to talk about her hit show, Fear the Walking Dead. That's today's Chatting with the Stars.
Jenna, I have to tell you, first of all, our viewers might not even know this, but one of your first gigs was in a Depeche Mode music video, Halo. What was as a Depeche Mode fan, what was the so cool. What was the coolest thing about being in that video?
The director's name is Anton Corbin, and was like a legend, photographer, director of U2, Depeche Mode. And so as a emerging artist, I just felt, I don't know, it was a big honor to be able to work with Anton and Depeche Mode and just sort of contribute to that aesthetic creation, you know? It's pretty cool. I think I was like
very
18,
cool.
maybe in that.
Yeah, and big brownie points, right? That's like forever coolness.
Forever.
Absolutely.
What a good party starter. You know what I mean? Were you in Depeche Mode?
She got nothing else to talk about.
Yeah, she's not. That's right. She's got nothing else.
No other gigs.
Yeah, no other gigs. All right, fans of Dharma and Greg, by the way, my whole family, it was the Jewish, the spiritual, we all loved you. We loved you, we loved you. We're surprised when it was not renewed for 6th season, ending the show without really a proper farewell.
She always takes her clothes off when she paints.
Is she your roommate?
No, it's my mother.
The naked woman is your mother. Do you have any Tums?
And I just wondered how you would have wanted this final season to end. If you had a magic wand.
Yeah, don't we all wish we had that magic wand? You know, I think it would have just been nice. You know, the season, we ended our 5th season and we had our big wrap party, went into hiatus, and just were like waiting for the May announcements on if we got renewed or not. And it was like, no, you didn't. And then it was so anticlimactic for having been a hit show that was in every country with 18 million viewers every week. So I wish I could have just sort of said, hey, you're renewed for your 6th season, or at the beginning of the 5th season, if they had said this is going to be the last season. Yeah. Then you go about it. I mean, these are crew members. We've spent 5 years intimately working together. You just want to have some closure. Totally. So I ended up writing a letter to every crew member, just thanking them and everything, just to have some kind of symbolic closure, because it was a really special experience for everybody. It was a special time in our life.
Elfman?
I guarantee you every single crew member still has that letter. That's amazing. That's the stuff people remember. All right, now let's be real now. You were on Fear the Walking Dead, and it's about people fighting to survive the zombie apocalypse. So tell us, what is it like being a regular person that knows that your character could be killed off really easily?
This is true. I feel like it's no different than just being an actor, and a show could get canceled at any time. It's like really all the same bucket of, you know, of stress, really. But I think I was more concerned about it when I first started the show, even though I'm contractually committed to the show. But then I just really leaned into the storytelling, and I just put my main focus on that, and just trusted the showrunners to, you know, tell the story they need to tell. And I get so much joy out of playing June and all of the dynamic changes that my character gets to go through. And as an actor, to be able to play those changes has been so fun that I just put my main focus on that, and you put your main attention on creativity, and that kind of keeps you flowing, you know?
I wanted to ask you just quickly, like, what characteristic do you think your character has that helps her survive, like, the best?
Well said.
Well, she is a trained trauma nurse, so she has that ability to sort of keep herself and others alive in that way. But I also think she has, I mean, not to call back to Dharma, but she does have kind of good luck and good karma, because she's well-intended and has a lot of empathy and care for others. And her North Star always has been helping. And when she can't offer help or be of service, I think that's when she starts to go into her traumas and all the things she's been through. And when she can find an avenue of applying her skills to others to help, she feels oriented. So I think that that's probably a big quality that keeps her going.
Yeah, I love June. She's a great character, and you bring so much life to her. So thank you so much, Jenna. DBL Nation, you can see Jenna in new episodes of Fear the Walking Dead Sunday nights on AMC. Thank you so much, Jenna.
Thanks,
you were
Jenna.
amazing. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Well, that sound means it's time to verify. The thermometer number is dropping almost in cadence with the COVID case count lately. Nationwide and here at home, we're making big strides fighting COVID-19, but health experts have cautioned we are not at the finish line yet. That brings us to a claim by Carol Harris. She said we need a good freeze to kill all these germs. So is it true a freeze or even just cold weather can kill viruses like COVID and the flu? To verify our sources are a research study published in the medical journal PLOS Pathogens and Dr. Chris Uhl, an infectious diseases physician for Atrium Health Wake Forest Baptist. They conclude the claim is false.
Respiratory viruses in particular, they transmit differently because where do they live? They live inside people and they thrive inside people, and they transmit from person to person, particularly when we're indoors. So actually, particularly respiratory tract infections go up when it's colder and in the wintertime. And with COVID right now, we're seeing that. The Delta wave has moved up to the northern part of the U.S. And they're having the problem now.
It's the same reason the flu typically peaks in wintertime. In a 2007 research study, scientists used guinea pigs to monitor how they spread respiratory viruses in different temperatures and relative humidity. They found flu spreads much more easily at dry, cold temperatures than warm temperatures with high humidity. One theory is because cool, dry air loosens up the nasal mucus and makes it easier for viral particles to get into the respiratory tract. But this left a big question. Why then do warm and humid climates like that of Florida still have flu seasons? The researchers suggest in these tropical regions, viruses spread more commonly through contact with surfaces rather than through the air. Also, people spend more time indoors to escape the heat. And as Dr. Uhl said, it's easier for respiratory viruses to spread indoors. In conclusion, we verify no, a cold freeze does not kill viruses. In fact, it does the opposite, facilitating its spread. So how did this claim originate? Dr. Uhl thinks it's because hard freezes can kill ticks and mosquitoes, but those illnesses the pests carry are not respiratory and spread through bites instead of aerosol droplets. With your Verify, I'm Megan Malaris.
Don't miss a minute of DBL. I cannot wait.
Nah, girl, we want to know.
You don't feel like that's a little bit weird?
Stop. Get
There's no
away
such thing
from
as ghosts. I'm talking about.
DBL is always all new every day.
Welcome back to DBL. Have scientists found the fountain of youth? We're chatting about it on DBL's Focus on Fitness presented by QB. Sadly, there is no secret serum, but experts say specific exercises after the age of 50 can help you age gracefully. First up, HIIT exercise, short for high intensity interval training. Researchers say it jumpstarts aging cells to create more proteins, essentially stopping the process of aging at the cellular level. Next, aerobic exercise. One study found that just 6 months of aerobic exercise can help reverse the effects of aging on the brain. And finally, dance. Dancing may be more effective at turning back the hands of time than other types of exercise. I just got footloose in my head.
That was just
Staying
very
active
aggressive.
is so important, and QB has made it easy regardless of physical ability or age. Try their under-desk elliptical at home. Call 1-800-556-2089 or visit QB.com to learn more.
I love the dancing.
You like the dancing?
Yeah, my girlfriend, it's our goddaughter, and they have a dance party before they go to sleep every night, and I think it's the most amazing thing.
You know what else is good exercise? Taking your Chanel sled down the hill.
Yeah.
That's good exercise for her.
Dancing on them.
We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place.